Okay, friends, you know what time it is. It's a talk show kind of episode. I'm here with Mary and MaryBeth, and when the three of us get together, you already know, nothing is off limits. These conversations are real, honest, sometimes uncomfortable, and always needed. We're talking about the stuff women are thinking, but not always saying out loud. Life transition, self-care, mindset shifts, relationships, and what it actually looks like to navigate the messy middle without losing yourself. This isn't expert talk from a pedestal. This is three women having real conversations, sharing real experiences, and reminding you that you're not alone in what you are feeling and going through. So grab your coffee, take a breath, and settle in, because this episode is going to have you feel like you're sitting right here with us. Let's get into it.
Hey, welcome back to the talk show episode. Mary Dibble here. For those of you, if this is your first time tuning in with us, I'm Mary Dibble. I'm a wife, a mom of three, a life coach, and the host of Radiant Mom Rising podcast. And this is a special panel episode that I do with my special friends, MaryBeth and Shauna B. So we're going to introduce ourselves before jumping into today's topic, which is going to be all around boundaries, burnout, and balance, the myth of having it all together. So ladies, how about we take a moment for you to introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started.
Love it. I'm MaryBeth. I am the host of the Fierce Framework podcast. And I just have a passion to see more women break out of the box society tells us we're supposed to fit into and start living lives that we're excited about, that light us up. So I'm all about empowering women to become more fierce through messy action, baby steps, and growing our confidence.
Awesome. My name is Shauna B. I am a mom of three with a bonus daughter. I am the host of Release Your Inner Power podcast, and I'm also a burnout prevention, overthinking intervention coach to get out of being stuck up in the mind and stopping all of the outside noise dictating how we want to actually live our lives.
Awesome. So today's conversation, again, is going to be really around how we as women, we feel like we're always failing because, we're constantly exhausted, we're overwhelmed, feeling like we have to catch up all the time, when really, in reality, we're just responding to unrealistic expectations, honestly. And that's what I really want to talk about is it's not about how to do more or how to get it together. It's really about questioning the myth that we're supposed to hold everything perfectly without support, boundaries, or rest. And so we're just going to really explore what that looks like in the real world, in real life. So to get started, I just want to kind of ask, when you hear the phrase having it all together, like what honestly comes up for you?
Bullshit.
I love that.
Like,
Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the voice I hear in my head is bullshit.
Adorable. That's adorable.
I think because it's kind of holding the torch from like really back in the day. Like we're talking like the 50s, right? Where every, all the houses look the same and everybody has, all the men go to work and the women are housewives and they have to do X, Y, Z. And if they just check all the boxes, then their life is perfect on the outside facade, right? And then what's going on inside is very different. All internally as a human, but then also inside the house, right? So I feel like as generations move on, like that's getting chipped away, but there's still some like really weird trace of, if I look like I have it all together, or if I look like I am doing enough, right? Then that makes me what? Better. That makes me good. That makes me, enough. It's weird how we put the pressure by how much we're doing and what we look like from the outside as is like verifying whether or not we're freaking good enough. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm like, bullshit. Because that is not real life. That is not real life. That is not how things go. And I feel like as a society, if we have a bigger understanding on like what life actually entails, what, the ebbs and flows of things that what we are showing or what we are comfortable showing, but there could be a whole mess going on underneath the surface that you don't have to tell people. You don't have to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You don't have to share your story in order to live your truth. It
Mhm.
helps you, it helps you heal, it helps you do things, but you don't have to in order for someone else to, I need someone else to understand. That
Mhm.
that doesn't have to happen. I feel like as a society, we need to be more open to things are going on. Sometimes people's lives are in a really big trench. Sometimes we're just like meh. And then sometimes we're like up here and it's like a
Yeah.
total high and it's awesome and everything's great. But like have space and compassion for other people to have that so they can move through that
Mhm.
and not so judgy and comparison-y
Yeah.
and are you good enough, E? You
Yes,
know?
yes, yes. I mean, because really, what does it mean truly about having it all together? So, Mary Beth, what do you feel like when it comes to that?
Yeah, I mean, I echo the bullshit,
Yeah.
honestly. Like
Yeah.
that's so cute. That's adorable. That's fake. Um, I mean, I get the pressure for sure. And like that was a real thing that I struggled with for a long time of like get it together. And now I kind of like it's a joke when I talk about like, yeah, I'm gonna get my life together like one of these days. It's fine.
Yeah.
But also like Shauna was talking about like with some people are in a trench, some people are in like a high place. And I think part of what has been so valuable for me is realizing that that's normal because I think for a long time like especially with like having it all together, we set this expectation that there's like that high point that like when you're happy or when you're in the highs of life or when you're in a easy season that like that's the expectation and that's what it's supposed to be all the time and then like whenever it's not that we're failing um and like that seems to be like kind of how a lot of us operate and that's how I operated for a long time but
Yeah.
realizing that that's actually not only is it not realistic, but like it's not even supposed like that's not the goal. It's not supposed to
Yeah.
be that way. Like life is supposed to include ups and downs. Like, we can get into all the reasons why, like from learning and,
Yeah.
developing
Growth. Yeah.
character and whatnot. Um, so then it's like, oh, it's just part of it.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to have downs as well as ups. I'm not supposed to maintain this perfect standard or perfect image all the time. Because I think for me, like the biggest thing is that expectation is so heavy.
Yeah.
And it that even that like takes so much energy and like mental space. So you actually like for me, I had way less capacity to live my life when I was so busy like holding up this like image that I had it together. And I actually like have it more together than when I was like trying to look like I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it just it's like taking out the trash. Like you just have so much more like
Good.
space for things that actually matter. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's a joke. I think embracing just like the ups and downs and the messiness of life as normal has been a game changer for me. And I mean, I strive now for like functional. Like,
Hmm.
can I function within my life?
Yeah.
Um, I'm like rebranding good enough as success. And so it's like the standard is just different, and
Yeah.
I think that's been the big thing for me is I just kind of like took this unobtainable standard of looking like I had it all together and I was like, let's bring this down to realistic and like functional. Can I move forward in my life? Like, is it working for me? Then okay, then it's together enough. And like
Yeah.
a win is a win.
Well,
Yeah.
and
That's
also like
that's
go ahead, sorry.
no good. I was just saying that's powerful. I like that.
I think that like success too, like what you were saying, I like how you said functional and success, right? Because functional is like the key to like taking the steps to be successful, but then
Mhm.
everybody's success is different.
Yeah.
And to like really understand what your success is and you'll know how much pressure you're putting on yourself by that definition. Because if you have like, oh, I'm gonna, make $1 million and I'm gonna like, and it's like way the frick up here, that's a heavy backpack you're putting on.
Hmm.
And And I'm not saying like don't go big, don't have big dreams. Like that's fine. But
Right.
now you got to break it down because you can't just have it up to here, put that heavy backpack on, and then you're just going to keep going on through the life. Then you're going to eventually hate in 3 months because you're like, this shit is hard, you know?
Well, and like you were saying, like everybody's success is different. And
Hmm.
like different people can manage different weights of backpacks. Like if you've been
Correct.
working up to it, like I love that analogy.
Right. So if you are super clear on what success is, it could be like, I freaking got out of bed today. Yep, you did. And that could be like a huge accomplishment because you don't know all the things that are surrounding it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like everybody's backpack is weighted differently.
Yeah.
Everybody's outcome looks differently. And so I think what you're saying about success and functional is super important. Like it's super important and to understand what that is. Like what is functional? Because there could be somebody out there that has to do like 25 things every morning,
Yeah.
but that could be their super functional and like that could be fine for them and what they need. And another person be like, I got two. I got two things. That's all I got. That's functional for me. And it's also okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like for me, like even just recently, it's like really that pull with social media, feeling like I have to post all the time. And sometimes I'm just in a place where it's like I just don't feel like doing anything. So for me, what looks like for me, what's successful about that is like even though I'm feeling that way, I still do something. Like I
Mm.
don't get to that point where I do go back and just crawl into bed and just do nothing because it's what I just don't feel like doing anything. Instead, I explore that now. Like I'm like, okay, what can I do? Like whether it's journaling or maybe I do my affirmations or just read something that fills me up a little bit just to see how I feel, maybe gain some clarity around it. And allow myself to kind of push past that, but
Mm.
not in a way that I feel like I end up making myself do the thing I didn't want to do, but in a healthier way. So it's like I'm really exploring that for myself right now when it comes to like being real and aligned with how I'm feeling versus what I feel like it means to have it all together and not feeling like I'm just like constantly feeling like I'm behind, like I should be doing more.
Mm.
And yeah, it's been awesome because I'm still getting things done, but in a way that doesn't burn me out.
Hmm.
I like that.
Well, I also think that it's important that when you do the things that are hard, like,
Hmm.
you know, what's that saying? I don't ever say it the right way because I like to make up my own stuff. But like, you know how like growth is uncomfortable, like you have to get
Yeah.
in the uncomfortable to like have the growth and
Yeah.
to like next level yourself. I think that's important to do at times, but I feel like it's ebb and flow, right? Like if you are really
Mm.
struggling and you're
Mhm.
having a hard time, like that is not the time to push through. Like that
Yeah.
is the time to, like you were saying, journal, get some clarity, pour into yourself
Yeah.
to then it's almost like strengthening up your muscles to then like go lift the
Mm.
heavy weight or whatever. It's
Yeah.
not, it's, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like this
Yes.
dance that you have to do to figure it out. But
Mm.
actually checking in and knowing what that is and knowing when to do it is,
Mm.
I would say, is more important than doing the thing.
Yeah, it is. And well, and also it gives you like I said, for me, I've honored a little bit of not feeling like who says I have to post every day? It's
Yeah.
okay. You
Right.
Yeah.
know, it's fine. I will, and honestly, like what I've learned about the frequency in our energy, it's like if I were to, like you say, push through it and force myself to do it anyways because I feel like I have to, it's like who am I really? I feel like my messaging is going to be missed by the right people, anyways. So it's like what it's like it's not a win-win situation. But I do
Mm.
love it, like you say. Like that's what I've been working towards. It's like okay, well then what can I do that will fill my cup? Like will help me to feel better, and then from that inspired state and that new, state of release, like where I've released that feeling or even just acknowledged it, whatever I needed to do. Now I feel like I can move forward and do something, even if it's not specifically the exact same thing I said. Maybe it is
Mm.
choosing that, okay, well, I'm not going to post today. Okay, but what can else can I do? Maybe I can plan or work on my podcast. Maybe I can do something else that's still productive, but feels more aligned with what I need to do. So yeah, it's kind of like
Mm.
what I think it's all about is just exploring in those times, especially. That's why I like this conversation about having it all together because I do want people who are listening to understand like that's not what this is about, like for us. And we need to stop
Mhm.
feeling like we have to have it all together and look like the Joneses and be what everyone tells us to be. Like we get to decide who we want, how we, and how we want our lives to look. And that is
Mhm.
awesome. And the more we give ourselves, like you say, that grace and that space to explore what that looks like, the more things are going to happen for us too. That's going to get us that end result, that ultimate goal that we're looking for without having that pressure of being burnt out in 3 months because we're like, holy crap, like I didn't realize
Mhm.
what I was signing up for because it's a lot. So yeah, I wanna ask too, when it comes to burnout, what is that like for you, not textbook definition wise, but right now, currently for you, what would you say that looks like for you in real life? What does burnout look like?
Sorry. It's like a reality check. Boom. Okay.
Yeah,
So, um,
I know.
oh, that burnout, at least for me, is when you have a drastic change to what you're doing in your life. And what I mean by that is if you're a person that like has a morning routine and you get up and you like go to the gym and you work out and then you go, either you go to your job or then you have kid stuff and then whatever, like whatever your normal routine is, when you're burnout, you like don't want to do anything. You don't want to do anything. Like you are
Mhm.
struggling with energy. You are snipping at people. You're not yourself. It's not just the I just want to sit on the couch or I don't want to get out of bed. Like I feel like it's like a scale, right? I feel like that is extreme burnout. Like you've been pushing through burnout already and now you just don't want to get out of bed or you're so tired you want to sleep all the time. You're at the like max level of burnout. But there's little signals along the way that tell you like you're getting there. It's like all information that's telling you like, hey, hold on a second. I need to pause here for a second because you're getting to that burnout point. But for me, it's like snippiness, not wanting to do any of those things, feeling like you just don't have like I don't have it today. I don't have it today. I don't have it today. Red
Mhm.
flag, red flag, red
Yes.
flag.
Yes.
For me, that's what burnout looks like for me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I was thinking like, and it's pretty similar to what you were saying. I was thinking for me, I was like, it kind of looks like depression, like, and it aligns with what you were saying about like just losing interest in stuff and like the irritability and like everything bothers me and like nothing feels like worth it. Um, and then like losing interest in the things that I would usually like, because I've noticed like if I get to that point or I'm getting to that point, it's like because I've like been more self-aware, I'll notice and I'm like, okay, what would help me feel better? And then I'm like, nothing. And I'm like, okay, well, usually I like going for a walk. How about that? And I'm like bargaining with myself, I'm like, no, that sounds dumb. And it's like, I don't want to do any of these things that I usually like. And you're like, oh, okay. Which is like pretty similar to depression, right? Like you lose
Yeah.
interest in the things that usually
Yeah.
interest you, and then it just feels like such a burden to like do like the self-care things that would feed into you. And then like I love telling myself like, oh, it's not worth it. Because it's like journaling for a little bit isn't actually, it's not going to instantly make me feel better. So why would I do it?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
just kind
agree.
of being a blob is what
Yeah. And
burnout feels like for me.
on top of that too, for me, when I can tell I'm in burnout is when I start really questioning like what I'm
Mhm.
doing. Like, and I start questioning, like, is this really worth it? Should I really be
Mhm.
doing this? Am I really meant for this? Like, I start questioning my decisions and questioning myself. And then that's when I realized too, like, whoo, maybe I am like getting to a point of feeling burnt out and
Mhm.
I just need to kind of readjust, reset. I love a reset. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right though. It is when you really think about it, burnout is very similar. I mean, it makes sense to depression. And that's a tough thing to go through. I mean, that's something
Yeah.
I've like suffered with for a long, long time.
Mhm.
And that's a not a fun place to be in, for sure. And
Yeah.
it feels like it's like a really deep hole to climb out of, for sure. That's
Mhm.
why I think it's so important to have people and to know these things that we share and how we help our clients and how we help each other just with these
Yeah.
conversations to be open to, because you don't have to stay that way. You know, I see so many people sharing all the time about being hurt and feeling alone and feeling like they don't have their tribe or they don't have a community, or they're so, you know, they're just struggling with so much in life and they don't have family or friends to turn to. And I'm like, you know, I get it because I've been there. But I also know that without putting myself out there and being vulnerable and looking or opening myself up to receive that, and even allowing myself to lose the people that I need to lose, like without any of that, as hard as it was and as scary as it was, I went and find my people. And so it's like I always feel like this is important for us to talk about and to share and be willing and to do, so that
Mhm.
we don't give up, because that's the thing I think burnout will lead you to, is to give up. It really does. And that's not what we want for ourselves or for any of you who's listening, to ever
Right.
give up on yourself or your dreams ever.
Right.
Yeah. It's it's a tricky situation because I think with this societal norm of go, go, go and being a million miles an hour, you get stuck on the hamster wheel of life and you don't like nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you keep going and you're running at 100 miles an hour, you know, you're going to run out of gas. Like it's not a you might run out of gas. You will run out of gas. So how do you, you know, recharge yourself or refuel yourself, if you will, to not have to go through burnout all the time? Like you have
Right.
the power to do it. You just have to do it. You just have to be able to check in. And it's so important to get really real with yourself and like check yourself in a way of like, how is this making me feel? Like what this like how is all of this making me feel? Because it's all information. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh, like the negative feelings are bad. I can't feel them, you know, let's move on. What's the positive? Always looking at the, you know, good.
Yeah.
Well, let's not. Let's
Yeah.
not, and let's look
Let's
at the
not.
actual feeling and let's
Right.
see how is like what why. Like start asking yourself questions. Have some discovery around it instead of the quick fix, right?
Mhm.
If you have the discovery around
Right.
why you're feeling that way, then you can kind of navigate, you know, oh, okay, you know, this doesn't make me feel so great. So then what are the boundaries around that that are going to
Yes.
help you, you know, stay on this path of where the next time you might feel that way, you're like, oh, I kind of know what I need to do here to like pick myself back up and,
Mhm.
you know, or have less of this or less of that because I feel better. Like there's ways that you can take this information and you can actually improve your everyday life,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but you got to listen. You got to check in. You have to like recharge yourself, you
Yeah.
know? And Mary Beth, like you were saying, like, I don't want to journal. Like, what, you know, like, how is that going to help me right now? And, you know, it's not going to, okay, yeah, I journaled. I don't feel better. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes when we get in it, like so far in there that we have to, like you're saying, like, think of it this way. You're in a deep hole, right? There's going to be certain things that you're going to have to build steps to
Mhm.
climb
Yeah.
out of that. And if you
Mhm.
journal every day or go for your walk or
Yeah.
have your check-ins, you're literally building the steps to eventually climb out of that hole. It's not a leap.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like, oh, I journaled out the hole I go. That's
Right.
it's not that easy, right? Like there's things that build on each other. So like give yourself some grace and the time, and when you build on it and you look back, you're like that is what got me out of this.
Mhm.
That is what helped me out of this. And then you're like, and in the toolbox this goes, because you want to keep that because you know
Yeah.
it works for you, but you also have to give it time. You know, you got to give it time to build.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not going to be a one and done.
Yeah. And I think that that's so powerful, especially for me, because I've realized like um I love a leap. Like I hate a process, you know. I want like a one
Yeah.
and done like
Totally.
and so I would like, you know, if I'm like burnt out, I'd be like, "Oh, let me just wait until I can take a vacation or like do something dramatic or like go on a retreat or like, you know, do something drastic to like fix me." Um, and then it's like, oh, so there's nothing I can do right now. So I'll just like white knuckle it until this, you know, magic future date when like something dramatic will like reset my brain. Um, and it's like I think part of that fantasy is like then I don't have to do anything. I can just like wait for like a magical fix and like I can just keep being miserable and not do anything now because like it's outside of my control. Um, but when you're looking at like what you can do now, and I love like when I was in Shauna's program, she was telling me like just because something doesn't work right away or doesn't feel like it works right away, it doesn't mean it's like not working. Which
Yeah.
I don't know what I was telling myself, but I was like, if it doesn't like change how I feel immediately, then I guess that's like not a tool I need, or it's like not working, it's broken, like something's wrong. And she was like, no, some things like take time, and some things like you have to build a little bit over time. And sometimes like you're so far in the hole that even though you're getting closer to the top, you can't tell because you're still like so far away, right?
Oh yeah.
And so like that was something that was really powerful for me is just like understanding that it's important to do the things, those little things that are gonna getting sunshine, drinking water, right? Journaling, feeling your feelings, all those little things that aren't gonna be like an overnight change, but
Yeah.
they do like build up on one another. And they're like establishing that relationship with yourself. And like you were saying, that the steps to get out of the hole. Um, and then it's actually empowering to realize like, oh, I can
Yeah.
like you see on social media, right? Like nobody's coming to save you.
Yes.
And it's like, but I can save myself. Like
So,
I
yeah.
can take these steps. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I just
It
love that
is
you
great.
brought that up.
Yeah. And I love that you brought up boundaries because that's a big part too. It's like, I want to say that of all, I mean, we talk about this a lot on the show and through our lives when it comes to boundaries. And that seems to be one of the hardest things for so many people, and especially as
Yeah.
women, is
Yeah.
setting the boundaries. So, I mean, what would you say to someone listening who's like, I am feeling burnt out. I don't feel like I'm struggling with this idea of having it all together, and even the idea of setting boundaries. Like, how can you, how did, first, like, just share personally for yourselves, like, how did you get started with that? Like, how did you get past the fears and the uncomfortableness of setting some boundaries, and maybe give some examples of like what some boundaries you kind of started off with and how that looked like, just to maybe give them perspective.
I love that.
Yeah.
You're laughing. Did you want to come off
I
on that?
trained my dragon.
I get
So what I mean by that
I love it.
is I call my inner critic my dragon because it likes to swoop in. Sometimes it's sneaky, sometimes it's huge and sometimes it's small. And your inner critic is saying stuff to you all of the time. All of the time. Every time you're doing something, when you're talking to somebody, when you're not, when you're at work, when you're driving, when you're blah, 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 like
Yeah.
it can either be driving the bus to your life or you can be driving the bus to your life. And I feel like when you're burnout and you're overthinking and you're like in this mode, you are very susceptible to that dragon swooping in and taking over and being like, oh, is it worth it? Why should you do that? It wants you to stay in the familiar. It doesn't want you to do something different because it doesn't know how to respond to that. And
Mhm.
so you have to train your dragon with boundaries and questions and checking in with how you truly feel, not what it's telling you.
Mm.
And when I figured out how to like actually scientifically rewire my brain with this dragon and what it was telling me, I felt like I had broken out into like freedom. Like I felt
Mm.
oh, okay, I can do this. Okay, it is on. Like I was so excited when I figured out how to do it because if I can do it with one thing, I can do it with so many different aspects of my life. And then getting into it and realizing that my inner critic, my dragon, is not who I am.
Yeah.
That is not who I am. But it likes to keep me in this spot or in the hole or in the trench or whatever because it likes it in there because it's familiar. And when you're done and you're burnt out and you want to change and you want something different, not only are you going, where you have to learn to separate yourself from societal norms, social media, marketing, blah, 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 that puts all this pressure on us when you're like, okay, get rid of that. You start hearing your dragon, you start hearing that inner voice on what is going on. And when you build that relationship and understand the boundaries that you need to put around it, because it's always going to be with you, you're never going to have it. That's why I say train it. Like it's never
Mhm.
going to go away. It's not, going to be gone. It's going to be with you. And you have to learn how to like talk better to yourself. So that's louder than when your dragon comes in and be like, "Oh, really? You think you're going to do that?" Like you don't have time for that. You don't have energy for that. You don't have, all the things that we say to ourselves. And once I started putting boundaries up with that and changing the way that I was thinking, when certain situations would happen to me and then my true self would come out and say the thing, I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like what?
Mhm.
And it's so empowering and motivating to know that you have the power to do that, but you just have to give yourself permission to do it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you have so many opportunities to practice. It's at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You just have to choose to do it. But once you do that, it's so freeing. It's almost like if you start with your self-information and you start training that dragon, there's so many freeing things that the outside world starts to matter less for validation for yourself.
Mhm.
And it's quieter. And that
Mhm.
you're taking rocks out of your backpack or cutting the
Yeah.
chain that you're dragging around. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain until you experience it. And when you do experience it, you're like, heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I want more of that.
Yeah.
That's how I did it. I went through a divorce. I was like, I didn't even know what I want anymore. I was like, all my expectation, the picture that I had painted for my life was gone. No
Yeah.
more of that. I'm like, but then what? Like I have kids, I have a job, I have like then what? Like what am I going to do? Like what now? Like what's next? Because everything I thought that was going to be is no longer here and it's kind of like a blank slate and I didn't know
Mhm.
what to do with that. And there was so much fear, which dragons love to eat that up. There was so much fear and like worry of like what if I mess up or what if I'm not good enough or what if this is this or what if I mess my kids up or
Mhm.
all of this stuff, and I had to minimize all of that and quit critiquing everything that I was doing and just freaking try something, because how am I going to know until I break out of the shell of what I normally was doing, because nothing changes
Mhm.
if nothing changes, right? So here I am. Let's try this. Let's try this. Hey guys, we're gonna start making up a list every summer where we pick something and then we go do and make all these memories and try to be happy, and let's see how it works. And then, do you guys want to make the list next summer comes? Do you guys want to make this list? Yes. Okay, great. But then celebrating the way that I'm putting boundaries around this inner critic and putting boundaries around what I actually wanted in my life and
Mhm.
valued, and then took the steps to actually live it. And then when my dragon would swoop in, I'd be like, but do I have enough time though?
Right.
Do I
Mm.
really want to do this? So is this important to me? It's kind of important to me. And it quiets down to where you are louder than it. Or
Mhm.
sometimes it just doesn't even come and say the thing anymore because it's like, why? She's not going to listen to me.
That would be nice.
Not
And
talking
that's when
here.
you
She's
know
not
you've won.
listening. I mean, that's what really set me free, was in all of that, was trying to figure out my new life and retraining my brain and training my dragon, my inner critic, to really like stop with the shit
Mhm.
talking. And it changed my life. Like in so,
Yeah.
I mean, pick an aspect of my life. It changed so many different things, which is why I teach classes on this to this day, because it drastically changed my life.
Yeah. I think that's so powerful, dude. And like, I mean, really, like that's what it boils down to, right? So
Yeah.
I think, oh, the way it shows up for a lot of people is that, especially with women and like the way we're socialized is like that setting boundaries is selfish. And there's this like expectation that we're supposed to put everybody before us and like not need anything and like this, that, and the other. And so there's this whole like system where having boundaries or doing things for yourself as a woman is like selfish. And that's like cardinal sin number one, I guess. Um, and so, and for me, like that was something I struggled with a lot of setting the boundary, like feeling like I was allowed to. Because then we also like do this weird thing where we like tie tie things to like morality and whether we're a good person or not, right? So then it's like, oh, if you're selfish, you're a bad person. So then it's like if you're setting boundaries, you're a bad person. And like I think that like chain of meanings is part of why like it feels so dramatic and hard to like set a boundary. Um, but I'm not gonna get too far into that. But like so when you're thinking of it that way, and like relearning that you're allowed to be selfish or that being selfish isn't actually selfish or it doesn't make you a bad person, like whatever you need to do to like unhook that meaning so that you can like live for yourself a little bit. That was part of like the game changer for me, right? And so like practically, one of the things I love is to like stop over explaining. And I started this like in my corporate job when I was like afraid to call in sick because it was like, well, I'm not like super sick. I could work, but it's like I really don't want to. And it's like, oh my God, girl, you have the PTO. Right. And then like also like having friends who have really good boundaries, right? Because then I have like coworkers who are like, you need a reason to use your PTO. Couldn't be me. And I was like, oh, wait, I want to be more like her. Like, how do we do that? So, like, having people in your life who are really good at boundaries, and that helps like normalize it.
Yeah.
And then like practicing and stop over explaining. So,
Mhm.
like, with the like calling in sick, right? Instead of like coming up with some elaborate lie, because I'm terrible at lying, it was just like, I'm not gonna make it in instead of like
Yeah.
I can't or oh this is why and like all these excuses and I will use that still for like parties, social events like oh I'm not going to make it and
Mhm.
like it just is
Okay.
the fact. And you're not lying and you're not offering this like big explanation to where then they can start like picking it apart. um
Mhm.
so yeah, like keeping it simple and practicing it, like literally
Yeah.
practicing those words if you have to. If
Mhm.
you're awkward like me. um and then one of the like powerful reframes was understanding that saying no allows you to say yes. And so, like, if I did want to explain, I could say, oh, I'm not going to make it to your party because I'm taking a solo trip. I'm going to be doing this, like it's the things that I'm saying yes to. And even if you're not
Yeah.
explaining that to somebody else, because, you know, you don't need to, but like knowing that for yourself. And so it like ties into you have a really good reason that you can believe in. And so it's like, I'm not going to this party because I'm choosing to rest this evening or practice my painting, like practice my creativity, like whatever you're choosing to do. And like having that in your mind when you're setting the boundary and you're saying no, for me, that's been really, like, really empowering because then I can really believe in that no, because I'm really saying yes to what I want to do and to myself and the things that like I am choosing
Mhm.
instead of being like so obsessed with like, oh, I'm saying no and I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that and I'm not doing that. That's like, yeah, but I am doing this and that's allowing me to do this and invest in myself this way or invest in this other event or like anyway. So yeah, that using your no to say yes was
Yeah.
like really helped me like kind of wrap my mind around it, I think.
Oh
That's a good
yeah,
one.
that is a great one. Actually, I love that because I used to always feel even I worried so much about what the other person was going to think of me if I said no for
Hmm.
things like that, and that right there caught me in a trap of always saying yes when I didn't. It was not a full body yes, and I've learned about the full body yeses and if it's not a full body yes, and you like you say don't have to explain, you can say no, and I even like encourage people with that. Like if there's something you're interested in, like whether it be a free event even or whatever, I know that in the world of entrepreneurship, for instance, like you always have that over your head of sales, and that's such a
Yeah.
sticky conversation for so many people, even though that is part of your business and that's what, that's how you are able to serve others. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to earn money in your business for what you offer, of course. But however, sometimes you're on the other side of that sale and it's like the way that situation can feel. And it's like there's power though in you showing up and being true to yourself. And if it really doesn't feel aligned, saying no. You have every right to do that. I think for me, that was something I struggled with because I
Hmm.
always felt like I was letting them down. Maybe I was letting myself down and that pressure and things like that. But I feel like it's what you were saying. It's a lot about the beliefs that we have to unlearn.
Mm.
That's where it really starts is unlearning those beliefs that it is even selfish of us to take time for ourselves and to go get sleep when we need sleep. I remember even when I was had newborn babies, having times where my husband was like, "Go, I got the baby, go take a nap," and I just felt like I couldn't. Or somebody finally did visit, and instead of going and getting some rest, I would feel like I didn't want to leave them with my baby, or I didn't want to leave. They're here for my me too. I have to entertain or whatever it is. Like
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
pressure we put on ourselves. Like even we with like I have this thing, and I know that comes from my mom because she's always been a clean person, but like just even if I know someone's coming over, like I feel like all of a sudden it's like I don't want it to be I don't want anyone to come out here and think that oh my God she's got kids and dogs practically like everyone makes jokes about that. Yeah, Mary, you don't have kids or dogs because like I have to go into this like clean mode of like oh my God I gotta clean up and make it look all nice and like it's a nice house or whatever. And even things like that I have to work on, of like setting those boundaries of being like, it's okay that the mess is going to sit there, or it's okay if things
Mhm.
don't look a certain way or feel a certain way. And it is okay for me to also share my voice. I think that's another thing I feel like with
Mhm.
boundaries that is a big part of what that is knowing that you have a voice and you have a right to your voice. And if you don't like something or if you need something, that it's okay to voice it. That's a huge one I feel like we struggle with as women because we don't want to cause conflict and we don't want to hurt people's feelings. We don't want to offend people, whatever it is. And so therefore we put ourselves in this bubble or in this
Mhm.
uncomfortable situation in order to make them more comfortable. But what good does that do us? Really? You know, that's hard on us. It's hard on our systems, and deregulates our nervous system. And then that is where the behavior that shows up, where we are snippy and burned down and
Right,
feeling,
right.
awful and not feeling like herself. So I think this is so good. This is like I said. So if anyone out there is like listening and this is something I want you to think about yourself, it's like, what's one boundary? What's just one
Mhm.
thing that I can do for myself to practice? Something small that doesn't feel too heavy, but like something I need, whether it's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take this time to go read a book or go for this walk. Or you know what? Hey, you kids can go and let mommy have her mommy time. I mean, I have to do that with my kids all the time because it's like I'll have a long day at work. And as soon as it's done, and then I have to clean, and then it's like that's done, and then they're like, "Oh, come play, come play." And there's sometimes I have to like I will when I can, like if I, if I'm energized, but if I'm not, I honor that. And I'm like, "Look, mommy just needs a moment. Like give her some mommy time for me to rest and get more energized, and then bam, I can go."
Mhm.
And it's like, and the experience is better for all of us
Yeah.
than when I force it or try to force it because I don't want to let them down
Yep.
or be the bad mom who doesn't play with her kids.
No,
You know?
I love that. And I love also what you said about like when you get snippy, because I think that's super powerful too. Like if you've ever gotten to the point where like you resent someone else because you
God,
didn't set a
yes.
boundary and
Mm.
because usually we don't even tell them, right? Like
They're just supposed to
this
know.
this is gonna stress me out, or I actually shouldn't be saying yes to this because I'm
Yes.
so overwhelmed, and this is actually gonna make me resent you in this whole situation, but I'm saying yes anyway because I feel like I have to. Like they don't know any of that, and then you end up like resenting this person and having this like bad energy, or like you're getting snippy, or
Yeah.
like you were saying, like you're there playing with your kids, but you're not really there,
Yeah.
and it's like when I realize like now I have this like attitude towards this person that has nothing to do with them. And it's actually that is more harmful for the relationship than if I would have just been honest and said no. And like that was a huge light bulb for me too of like I'm like feeling shitty towards this person because I didn't
Yeah.
set a boundary, or like I didn't tell them like, hey, I don't have capacity for that. And like they're over here just trusting me that I said yes because I meant yes. And now
Yeah.
I have all this crap like directed towards them. And I'm like, that is more harmful for the relationship than for me to say, hey, no, I can't show up for you that way. Like I
Yeah.
can show up for you this way, or I can, maybe show up for you next week, but like I can't do that right now.
Hmm.
And like that was a game changer for me is like, oh, it's actually kind. Like we strive so
Yeah.
much to be nice, but then like that's this like shallow veneer. And it's like I would rather be kind and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
because it takes some vulnerability too to be like, I don't
Yeah.
have capacity for that.
Hmm.
But then
Yeah.
like now we have where I'm sowing trust and like vulnerability and honesty into our relationship. And yeah, so like I love that you like brought
Yes.
those things up because that was a game changer for me also. Like it's actually better.
It really does. It strengthens a lot of most importantly, your relationship with yourself, but with others for sure. And I know we're getting closer to like wrapping things up here, but I really want to also ask about balancing because we hear that all the time. How do I balance it all? You know, when you're juggling life, work, whatever, entrepreneurship, kids, whatnot. Tell us just real quickly a little bit of like what does balance look like for you right now in this season? Like not ideally, but like realistically, just to kind of give an idea of like I guess around that myth of balance.
I mean, I could jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
My I have a bare minimum.
Mhm.
So with that's like my job, my corporate job, right? Or like my business, or even like cleaning around my house, or like I have a bare minimum, and like I work on letting go of perfectionism and letting that be good enough. So like cleaning, my standard is not a spotless house. My standard is like where my house doesn't gross me out. Okay. So then it's like that brings everything down to manageable. If my bare minimum is good enough, and then on the good days, right, or when I have more energy, then I can invest more in other things and I can get really excited, or like in a season where I'm really pursuing my business, or in a season where like my house is super clean. But as long as the other things are like meeting that bare minimum, which is like a real low standard, then the other things can like fluctuate. And that's to me, like that's good enough. As long as something isn't going like completely undone
Mhm.
and not meeting the bare minimum, then it's like balanced enough and I'm free to like pursue the things that are actually
I love
lighting me up.
that.
Or
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a really rough season and all I can do is the bare minimum across the board. And I'm like not showing up
Yeah.
as a
I love that.
superstar anywhere. And it's like just bare minimum. But most of the time, right, you're getting like really into your corporate job, or you're really into your business, or you're really into your hobbies, or like maybe summertime with kids, right? You're like really into family. And as long as the other things aren't completely falling off the face of the earth, I'm like,
Huh. That's
it's
good.
good enough. It's
That's great.
balanced.
That's great. I love that.
This is an interesting one for me. I like that you said, like maybe it's summertime or maybe it's winter or what have you. I think that makes a big part of it because you are very different depending on the season and what you do. And I think for me, I like to be very clear on what I want to accomplish and what my year is going to look like in all areas and understand that, winter for me is more about like reflection and rest and really
Mhm.
understanding what I want to do next. And then that way, when springtime comes and it gets sunnier, you like naturally get this like boost of like, ooh, what am I going to get into? You kind of like, oh, I want to try to do this or I want to try, and you might bounce around to a bunch of things. And then for
Yeah.
me, like my family summer is like full board, go, go, go. Like there is zero cleaning the house. Okay. It's like disaster everywhere. We're playing, making memories, whatever. I only got 3 months. And then, we start to go back into routine. So it's like,
Mhm.
it's really about a year instead of putting so much pressure on this week has to be like this.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
used to be that. I used to be like, I have these 10 things that have to be done. And if I don't do these 10 things, then who is going to do it? And then tomorrow I'm going to have 20. And where is that in my head? That is in my head. That is not reality. And I had to like check myself a lot and be like, excuse me, stop. What actually needs my attention right now?
Yeah.
What is that? And if I'm like, oh, we don't have any cups, I kind of got to do the dishes. Okay, do the dishes and then let the rest of the crap go. Like, don't be like, and then I have to do this, and then I have to do the laundry, and then I have to, like, no. Like,
Mhm.
I had to get real with myself and in a way of what actually needs my attention right now. And then what are
Mhm.
the three things today?
Three is good.
Yeah.
Like what
I
are the
love
three
that.
things? Maybe it's the dishes. Maybe it is that one load of
Yeah.
uniforms because we're doing 10,000 sports and it has to be ready. And if I don't, I'm going to be stressed out. Okay, well, if you know that, then that's one of the things, right?
Mhm.
Or, maybe you hate like me. Like by the time it's dinner time, I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to plan dinner. So I have to do it in a different time of the day, or I have to do it in the beginning of the week. So I don't have to think about it because I already know I don't want to
Smart.
I love that.
and so it's like,
Mhm.
okay, so dinner, things like that. So those top three things that if I do those three things, I'm more relaxed. I'm not as stressed out. I'm not putting as much pressure on myself to where I can be like, you know what? Like after this podcast, I'm going to rest
Mhm.
and I'm going to be okay with it because I already did one thing today. This fills me up. And then I'm gonna just, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm just gonna rest. Like it's almost like it gives yourself permission to put in the things that fills your cup, fills you up, fills your cup. But then like you get more ease and joy out of the day instead of rushing around checking all these
Mhm.
friggin' boxes that
Yeah.
you can do 10 boxes today, girlfriend, and then tomorrow you got 10 more.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
like, do we really want to put all the pressure on the things that you want to do, right? So it's kind of getting real with yourself and what actually needs your attention right now and then
Yeah.
being okay with what doesn't get it because tomorrow is going to come,
Yeah.
there's going to be three more things and
Oh,
change it up so then you feel like you're
yeah.
touching everything like nope, today I want to go for a hike or today I want to go hang out with my friends and
Yeah.
that's one of the three really important things. Great, So then by the end of the week, you may have touched all pieces of the pie of your life.
Yeah.
And you're like,
That's
okay,
really
this
good.
is a pretty good week. It doesn't have to be all in one day or all for one week or what have you.
Yes.
Just little pieces,
Here and there.
here and there, and not put so much pressure
Yeah.
on the how much you have to get done.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a list.
I love that because like yeah, there is, but I also like I'm not a very good routine kind of person. I never have. I have
Yeah.
ADD, so like for me, like I get bored very easily, and I love flexibility. Flexibility is something I've realized that matters to me. I like having a life where I can be flexible with my time and doing
Mhm.
things, which is why I love this journey I'm on because I get to make my calendar as I want to. I get to kind of work the stuff around my life rather than my life around that to a point. I know there's some things that you have to be committed to, but I like that because to me, with balance, when you hear that, it's like I said, it's like that idea of like having everything perfect and all good and bad or all good and dandy, but it's like in reality, like nothing's really ever balanced properly, and that's okay. It's like really figuring out
Mhm.
honoring like for today like you say, that the few things that need to get done that will make you feel good, just make you feel like, okay, I accomplished it. I'm good. So whatever else comes is just a bonus. And if nothing else comes, it's okay too. And I
Mhm.
think that that's kind of how I work my life right now is like knowing, okay, this is what I have scheduled for today. And then everything else can just be what it's meant to be. And I love it. It's like I will get
Mhm.
done what I
Mhm.
need to get done as it shows up and deal with how I need to deal with it. If it's too overwhelming for me, I will either delegate or figure out what needs to get done, or even sometimes walk away if I have to just calm my nervous system down because sometimes I do get bombarded with things from like outsourced sources that it's not intentional, but it's just there because it's my job or whatever it is. So I love that. That the minimum stuff because it's like I think that that's something if anyone is like feeling like you're failing with keeping up or just having it all together whatever like give yourselves a break. I mean godly, we are bosses. We do so much as women in this world. We're so intelligent. We carry so much that we shouldn't even have to carry half the time. And we're all working to
Mhm.
like reframe and retrain and just really be more true to who we want to be and how we want our lives to look rather than what we've had this pressure for so long of what it should look like. So I hope this
Mhm.
conversation for anyone who's listening has really helped you give you perspective when it comes to setting boundaries and or having the idea of having it all together or balancing whatever it is because it's never going to look alike for any two people. Our lives will never look. Everybody has their own unique life path, everything. So there's no one answer for any of this. And it's all about you exploring and finding your own way and what works for you and what works for your life and your family, your circumstances. Yes, there's a general like knowing and tips and support out there to help open that clarity up for you to help you and especially in choosing that deciding that and then following through because that's always a struggle. I think it's like even if you know what you can or cannot do or what you should be doing or what you could be doing, it's also like actually following through on it. That's the tough part. That's where we need really
Mhm.
support with. So I just want to thank you guys again for like everything you shared because I think this is really healthy of a conversation for people just really just trying to live a good life and just be happy and really find their way because that's what it is at the end of the day, right? We're just trying to find our way and become who we're meant to be and support each other and help others to better themselves and feel good in their bodies and their lives and everything. So, how about we go ahead real quick and share a little bit about where people can find you if they want to learn more about you and how you maybe can help support them on their journey?
Love it. Well, you can find me at The Fierce Framework. I'm on social media at The Fierce Framework. That's my podcast. Um, my Instagram has a little link in bio. That's probably, I'm not a website girly. So, yep, just at The Fierce Framework.
You can find me at igniteddecisions.com is my website, which will lead you to all of the places that you can find me, or you can tune into my podcast, Release Your Inner Power podcast.
And me, MaryDibbleCoaching.com. You can learn about my podcast, Radiant Mom Rising, there, or just get on a free call with me so we can explore where you're at, where you want to be, and how I can help you bridge that gap. Just know that we're here for you. We'd love to hear your comments, your feedback, your takeaways, anything. If you ever just want to catch us on social media, whatever, just know we're here for you. And we really appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. For me, I always love to open the floor. Is there any final piece of advice or anything you want to share with listeners today?
When in doubt, take a break.
That's so good. I think for me, like it's the bare minimum thing. I think so often like we feel like we're always failing because we haven't thought about what success is. And
Mhm.
so we default to this idea that perfection is success, and that's not realistic. So taking a step back and actually defining success, and you don't have to be as like you don't have to have success be your bare minimum like me. I love it here, so I highly recommend it. But like a realistic standard where you're
Yeah.
not just assuming it's perfection because you never
Mhm.
really thought it through.
Yeah.
And then that just takes so much weight off because it's actually achievable.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do what we can to take the weight off. Stop carrying what we no longer serves us. Stop carrying all the stuff that's not our crap.
Hmm.
We'll let it go and let's yeah, be real and be true to ourselves because you matter. You matter. Just know that.
Absolutely.
Well, ladies, of course, as always, love our talks, love our time together.
Yes.
Thank you again for everyone who tuned in. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, learned something new, or got some gems to take away that will boost your week. I release a new episode each week, so make sure to click that follow button to not miss what is coming next. If you love the show or want to share a story, send me a quick message. I love hearing from listeners. If you know someone who needs this episode in their life, go ahead and share it with them. I'm sure they would love you for it. If you are looking to connect more, check out the show notes for all the social links, my website. I would love to hear how this episode helped you and what you loved about it. If there is a topic you want to hear about, send that too. All right, ladies, now is the time to release your inner power. Are you feeling like you're behind or something's off or you've tried to do something new and you just can't get on that wagon? You just keep falling off? Guess what? You're human and life doesn't follow a perfect timeline. Maybe the year didn't start the way that you hoped. Maybe your goals got buried under real life stuff. But here's the truth. You're allowed to begin again anytime you want, whether it's July, September, December, January. Progress doesn't have a deadline. That's why now is the perfect time to join Empower Her. We meet you where you are, help you build momentum, and remind you that you don't have to do this alone. There's still so much time left. Let's make it count together.